Good morning, I'm Andrea. It's Wednesday the 13th of May. I'm the Children and Families worker here at Highbury, and I'm giving you today's reflection while Jason has a much needed day off. I didn't know where to start with this one. I didn't get that usual inspiration that I had with the last two, and that was exactly my starting point really. My head's in a bit of a fuzz at the moment, just clarity. We all need some clarity. There's lots of confusion. And we need to seek some wisdom and stillness. Personally, I'm still enjoying having children at home, not having to run around and do all of that. So the thought of going back to normal and sending them to school got me in a bit of a panic, to be honest. But then on the other end of the scale, I'm worried about their homeschooling, I'm worried that they're not doing enough, worried that they're going to fall behind. But the inertia of them not wanting to do anything is also hard as well. So lots of confusion and just... So I was talking to Rob, my husband, and he reminded me about the account of Major Chris Keeble in the Falklands War 38 years ago. This is a précis of the account of that. 55 Argentine troops and 17 British soldiers lost their lives during the battle for Goose Green, the coastal settlement where Argentine forces had mounted a large garrison. The Argentinian military regime had invaded the islands to lay claim to them, and a UK task force was dispatched to liberate the British islanders there. The fighting was intense, and suddenly the words that Chris Keeble will never forget crackled through on his radio. Sunray is down. Their commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel H. Jones, was dead, killed in action as he stormed an Argentine gun position. Chris Keeble is a Christian, and as second in command, he took charge of over 400 men. He recalls, "My heart beat faster. It was an immense responsibility. By nightfall, the battalion was running out of ammunition. We'd been fighting for 40 hours and we were very tired. It was bitterly cold. 1 in 6 of us was either injured or killed, and we had no reinforcements. I went back to my group leaders and it was quite clear they were looking to me for solutions." They were surrounding Goose Green, 500-600 metres away on the far side of a ridge. Keeble knew the Argentines would bring reinforcements and mount a counter-attack. With reports of civilians being held captive, a sustained bombardment was out of the question. We were in a perilous position, and the responsibility for getting us out of it lay with me. I had no idea what to do. I walked up a gully to be alone for a moment to try and think. I put my hands into my pockets and my fingernails caught on a piece of plastic. It was a prayer which I had typed out and had laminated as a kind of deal with God. You know, I'll carry this prayer if you'll look after me kind of stuff. Keeble knelt in the gorse and said the prayer, written by the desert mystic Charles de Foucault, however you pronounce it. "My Father, I abandon myself to you. Do with me as you will. Whatever you may do with me, I thank you, provided your will is fulfilled in me. I ask for nothing more." Keeble found in the midst of battle a terrifying, almost impossible prayer to say, but to his amazement, he went through a real transformation. Instead of feeling frightened, uncertain, cold, miserable, confused, he suddenly felt joyful, happy, and warm. Above all, he had immense clarity about what he needed to do. He returned to his men and told them at first light he would walk down across the battlefield and invite the Argentine commanders to surrender. His men were pretty astounded to this very unmilitary kind of solution. We were a unit that was designed to bring violence to produce a solution, and I was offering one that was completely the reverse. Keeble returned 2 Argentine prisoners of war and offered an ultimatum: surrender or accept the consequences of military action. Within the hour, they reported back that their commanders were willing to talk. Keble approached the Argentines. He remembers walking down the hill thinking, this is rather nice, like a country stroll, only to learn later that they had walked through a minefield. They met two senior Argentine officials and appealed to their common Catholic faith to put an end to the killing. An agreement was made, and over 1,500 Argentine troops surrendered to 450 British paratroopers. The surrender saved many lives and set the tone for the rest of the war, boosting morale throughout. After the war, Keble was caught up in the adulation of victory, awarded the Distinguished Order, Service Order, and promoted to Lieutenant Colonel, etc., and his future in the army looked glittering. Yet the war had led him to reflect on how he was living his life. War had shown him people working together in a profound and powerful way, and a love for each other which he hadn't experienced in peacetime. As a Christian in the army, he felt uneasy and shallow at this aspect of his life. He left the army in 1987 to change just that. In amongst his moment of despair and chaos, he received wisdom through prayer. Interestingly, my go-to being the word for today, just as I'm about to come on and record this, is Daniel 2, verse 21, and it's from the New International Version. Which quotes perfectly, he changes times and seasons, he gives wisdom, which tacks beautifully on with this. So I'll read that verse from that New International Version. Realise that tough times won't last forever. As surely as God created spring to follow winter, he changes times and seasons, he gives wisdom. The season of adversity you're in will end, and when it does, you'll glean from it the wisdom to build a better future. I'll read also from Psalm 143, verse 8. Let me hear of your unfailing love each morning, for I am trusting you. Show me where to walk, for I give myself to you. That's all I need to read for that. I am trusting you. Show me where to walk, I give myself to you. Clarity in chaos. I'll close with the words that Jesus taught us in prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So I hope you find some stillness, clarity and wisdom as you go through today.